I have always wondered how art brands like Sanrio or Miffy grow from tiny characters into huge global empires. These cute little faces might look small, but behind them are multi-million-pound brands that have literally been built over decades. As an illustrator and brand owner, I've always dreamed of creating my own little Yorkshire version of that with Katnipp, and today I'm taking my very first steps to learn what it really takes to turn a little drawing into a world of its own as I head to London to attend one of the largest licensing expos in Europe. Let's go and get some inspiration for Katnipp, shall we?
.48 LNER Azuma, service to Newcastle.
Nice Katnipp top you're repping there. I've literally just realised we've got the same top on. Quite in different colours. So cool here. I love this station, it's so like old, it's one of the original ones. Look at all the dark wood and everything everywhere, it's so cool. To London, I guess. I am here on business because tomorrow we are heading to learn all about licensing. Let me just move you over there. You're precariously balanced on a Monopoly board, so sorry about that. Tomorrow we are heading to one of the largest licensing events in Europe, and I've actually brought a bunch of Katnipp stuff. Dean's just bought a basket. How did he get this in his backpack? He must have just laid it in. If you watched last week's creative like vlogs or studio vlogs, you will have seen we packaged up the new Pastel Witch plushie with Bumble Button. And I've also brought a Sakura one to take to this licensing event. One thing I want to learn about is licensing. So we made these thank you cards and signed them and sent them off, and it has like links and stuff in them, and we managed to unbox them and stuff. So this is a little cute front of it for autumn because it's currently October, and then all details about Katnipp on the back here. And then we also have brought some die cut stickers to take to the event as well in case we talk to anyone. And these are also cards that I want to take around with me if anyone ever sees me out in public. Come and say hello to me, and hopefully I will have this handy. Sometimes I don't have them handy, but we've got Dean's backpack, so I'll also like pass these out when we're passing people, which would be really nice, like a little collectible card, like art print you can get. And then because we did the plush toys, we also have these little Bumblebook cards that we're going to take to the event as well, and they just have Katnipp and our trademark on the back. Katnipp is trademarked. I don't know if you guys know that. I actually sent off for that trademark quite a while ago now, and it is actually trademarked, and so is Bumblebook now in the UK, isn't it? So that's all very good. I'm actually sweating because I've got dumping syndrome at the minute. Boiling here in London, it's 19 degrees. I brought a coat, but if I'm being honest, I don't even know if I need it because it's really sunny outside. Anyway, speaking of licensing, it's something that we're going to learn about hopefully at this convention. We're just dabbling our toes in tomorrow and not like looking into it in like complete depth or anything, but we're just dabbling our toes in, see what we learn. We're only going for one day, it is a 3-day event. I think some really big licensees go there. So if you don't know what licensing is, basically what you do is you generate like IP, so intellectual property, things like characters. So the perfect example of licensing is Hello Kitty or Disney. Everyone kind of knows who they are. And what happens is an artist or a brand will create licensable IP, so intellectual property, like Bumblebutt, and brands or businesses will license that IP, like the characters, like Bumblebutt, and they will use it on a range of products. So they'll normally work with the brand or the artist, then they will pay money, royalties, whatever, for that character to be put on products. So the perfect example is kind of Primark. They license IP from Disney, Sailor Moon, Hello Kitty. I've seen all sorts of great IP in their roster, like on their pajamas, for example, their t-shirts, and they'll use very popular characters from other franchises. They'll buy a license to use those characters legally and sell them on t-shirts and stuff like that. So that is basically what IP and licensing is. We don't know how to get into it or anything like that, which is why we are going to this event. I'm also wearing my own designs. At the moment, Katnipp isn't licensed anywhere other than katnipp.com, the official store. And my 5-year goal is to get either small licensees or bigger licensees and just learn about it and have like collaborations. So that's hopefully what we're gonna do and learn about. But we have just arrived today. The event doesn't start till tomorrow. We'll be going tomorrow, and then we'll be spending a nice day in London, which I'll be filming on my personal channel. If you want to follow me over on there, I'm going to do like a nice cozy autumn vlog in London. I think I might do 2, to be honest, while we're here, because it looks so cool. Baker Street station is so cool. It's all like really traditional and old. It's one of the oldest lines, I think, of the station, and I love how they've kept the like old wall paneling, and they're restoring it back to the original kind of Victorian features, which looks really, really cool. So yeah, I'm excited to explore London and be here. Speaking of licensing, I found out they've actually opened a new Miffy store here, and that's a perfect example of licensing as well. So like either Miffy the brand might own it, I don't know, more likely they've probably licensed it. So we're gonna have a walk around London and go to Carnaby Street to see this new Miffy store that's popped up and have a look around Carnaby Street. So I thought I'd bring you guys along as an example of licensed products or just products from a brand in general. Get some inspiration from Miffy. It'll provide a lot of inspiration for Katnipp. I love kind of a more minimalistic, character-based approach like Miffy, like Sanrio, like Hello Kitty. Let's head to Carnaby Street, but first of all, I think I might just head to Gill's, which is around the corner, which is a coffee shop, and grab some food because I am hungry, and then we'll be going for tea tonight. Let's go and get some inspiration for Katnipp, shall we? I just passed one of the Disney stores there, so I think I'm going to go in on my personal vlog and go have a look inside because it's got loads of autumn stuff out. I can't believe it. It only opened like 2 or 3 days ago as well, and I think there was people outside it taking photos as well, so it must be quite popular. This kind of went viral already on TikTok and stuff, and there was lots of people taking photos and stuff. I am back in London actually in a few weeks because I think I might be coming to an exhibition of an illustrator who used to actually work back in the 70s or 80s for Mitsukoshi in Japan. So If I come back, I'll film that for this channel. We have still got 2 more days, so it might be open tomorrow or the next day, so we'll keep trying because I'm going to film some vlogs. Anyway, I've just had that Gales and I was hoping to like burn some time or something, so we walked all the way here for no reason, but the views have been amazing, and I think we've like fished out things we want to do for my personal channel, so I think we're just gonna maybe chill, go back to the room, and yeah, and then tomorrow will be the licensing event. We've come to a really classic old London British pub. It's so nice in here, it's really autumnal. Like I've mentioned, I'm completely new to this whole world, but it's something I really want to explore for the future. My dream for Katnipp has always been to grow a little character brand, kind of like Sanrio, but rooted here in Yorkshire, blending my love for Japanese pop culture and with my North Yorkshire / English roots. It's kind of fascinating because we look at these huge character brands and iconic IPs now and think of them as these big global empires, but they didn't just like appear overnight. These worlds were actually built really slowly, carefully, and often over a lifetime. I think that in itself is a big realization a lot of people who may get into this field don't actually realize. And I have said that I am in this for life, and I feel like this was something that I've always been drawn to do or meant to do, and my journey feels very, very slow actually when I'm in it. I often compare myself to bigger brands and worry that I'm not doing enough, compare myself to like the likes of Pusheen, for example, but I am in this for life, and I need to always remind myself that these things do take a lot of time. I may never actually reach the global recognition some of these classics like Miffy and stuff do, but it is really, really fun trying to build this small community, because I also feel like it is super niche, and I feel like we're already doing that here at Katnipp. It's actually so cool to see Katnipp being sold around the world already. This is so cute. I've seen this in Japan and I've actually watched this on YouTube. And the way I actually see this is by obviously having a heavy hand in actually selling the products. That's what I've known, that's what I've been doing. And one thing that absolutely lights me up and lights my heart up is if you are a Katnipp fan and you're wearing a Katnipp sweater or you're wearing a Bumblebutt or Katnipp keychain and happen to see someone else with another Katnipp item, it instantly causes a connection in real life and a reason to actually interact with that person. And I actually have had you guys reach out to me and say you got chatting with another person because of Katnipp, and I think that is so niche. And I think because it is such a niche and small community and you can connect with one another like that, it just, I don't know, it just lights me up so much. And just the idea that people connect with one another through the Katnipp characters or art that make them smile or give them a sense of comfort, I don't know, that to me is just like the ultimate dream, isn't it? So going to one of these events is hugely inspirational because it's a way to kind of expand your brand out. And if we think of one of the earliest pioneers of character licensing, that was Beatrix Potter. You guys probably already know what an inspiration she is for me personally. She's a creator of Peter Rabbit, if you didn't know him, and she pioneered the world of licensing. Her first ever licensed product was actually a Peter Rabbit doll or plushie, which she patented in December 1903. She realised that bringing her characters to life through like tangible products could engage fans in a totally new way, and she was right. That simple plush bunny became one of the world's first licensed literacy character, and more than 120 years later, Peter Rabbit is still going strong and inspiring many other illustrators, storytellers and creatives to this day, me included. So a few more examples are like The Moomins by Tove Jansson, born in 1940s. She spent decades slowly building that whimsical universe, from her little drawings and comics to now global books, animation and even theme parks in Finland. And also obviously, as mentioned earlier, we have Miffy by Dick Brunner, started in 1955. began as a simple children's book character, and over time her clean, minimal design became timeless. And it's that quiet consistency which is what has made her kind of iconic around the world. The modern day version of this would be Pusheen. So Pusheen was actually created in 2010. It was really cool to see that brand at this licensing event. Pusheen's story is actually really inspiring as well. She started as a simple chubby grey cat doodle back in 2010, created by Claire Belton and Andrew Duff for their webcomic. She became pretty much a viral sensation online, especially on Tumblr, on Facebook. She grew through smart licensing partnerships. I remember actually seeing Pusheen for the first time as Facebook stickers when they first became a thing. And I'm not sure I would have ever been comfortable with the rapid growth of Pusheen. It just celebrated, I think, the 15-year anniversary, and instead I like the slow and steady growth we have here at Katnipp and Bumblebutt as it is. These brands weren't built in a year or two. They grew slowly with care over decades, which is exactly the kind of foundation I want to build for Katnipp too. So we have had a really interesting day at the Licensing Expo. It's on for 3 days, and I think next year, if I come again, I will sit down and actually book meetings with possibly agents, possibly licensees, and chat with them, because that's not what we did this year, because we just wanted to get, like dip our toes in a little bit and learn about it. And I feel like I've learned a lot more. One thing I will say is that licensing isn't for the faint-hearted. I'll give you my full lowdown when we're back in the Airbnb later on. I do think it is a very long process. It's not something like a get rich quick scheme. That's actually what one of the guests actually said. It does take a very long time. Like one deal can take between 12 and 18 months. That's the standard turnaround time. So if you think you can just get a license deal and then flip it around and then bang, you're sorted, that is not the case. It is really kind of the long haul game now, which has always been my goal for Katnipp anyway. I'll give you a full lowdown, but we're going to get the tube back now. I think we're going to get it back to our like Airbnb area, because we're near Marylebone area, which is a really nice area of London, and there's lots of places to eat and drink. So, and then I'll give you all my plans for Katnipp and kind of where I visualise and see Katnipp and what I thought of the whole event. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Julia from Scatterbox Studios. I think I've got that right. Sorry, I'll put it on screen. She has really helped me, and she's been giving me so many tips about licensing. And actually she mentioned this. She came to a Roland event that I did last year with Roland printers when I worked with them, and she mentioned coming to this expo, and that's what triggered me coming here in the first place. So a huge thank you to you for helping me. She even showed me her beautiful artwork and pitch decks, and it really helped and inspired me to kind of go forward, because I think without knowing this sort of stuff, it is a minefield, and it still feels a bit like a minefield, to be honest, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, and I definitely don't think it's for the faint-hearted. It's for really serious brand owners who want to build IP over years and years, which is something that I want to do at Katnipp. This is really the start of a next chapter, and really feels like the next 5 years is building up my IP and really polishing it off, and then it'll be like the storytelling years, and yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'm very excited. So a huge thank you to her for helping me out, and it's been very eye-opening. I ended up getting a load of stuff from London over the next 2 days. I will show you the haul that I got in this video as well, because speaking of IP, look, I managed to go to Miffy and go to the shop, and I got a bunch of really cute stuff. So I thought if you're interested, I will give you a haul of stuff that I got. A lot of it is Katnipp inspired, and we got some art books as well from Daunt Books. But yeah, I learned a lot from this licensing event, but it was nice to feel so inspired about where potentially my designs could go in the future with licensing. And speaking of licensing and designs, actually, Kittle has just dropped their 2026 design trends in collaboration with Save, and this is so cool to get ahead of the game, because they've got tons of templates you can go look at, which are going to be the trends for 2026 in graphic design, and they have kindly sponsored today's video. If you haven't heard of Kittle, it's an online design platform that makes it so easy to create professional looking designs right in your browser. It's perfect if you're a small creative business, shop owner, or just someone wanting to build a world around your characters like me. One of the biggest reasons Kittle actually is so great is their super clear licensing, and since we're literally talking about licensing today, it couldn't be more fitting marketing, there's 5 things I actually really appreciate about Kittle. 1 is everything is transparent. You know exactly what you can and can't use commercially, so there's no legal guesswork. 2nd, their assets can be used for both personal and commercial projects. This is a big one. So whether you're selling stickers, apparel, branding, your business, you're covered, and it's also fantastic for print on demand. 3rd, when you upload your own work, you always keep full ownership. Kittle doesn't take your rights away. 4th, the terms are genuinely designed to protect creators, which is rare and honestly gives me so much more peace of mind. And 5th, it's such a good fit for small creative businesses. It gives you more time to actually create and grow instead of stressing out about confusing licensing language, which can happen on some other design platforms. And like I mentioned, don't forget to try out their free 2026 graphic design trend report in collaboration with Save. It is packed with fresh fonts, elements and design inspiration to help you stay ahead of the curve. These are fully editable assets for your audience or you, which you can use straight away, whether you're designing for Etsy, starting a new brand, or just making something beautiful for yourself. Think of it like a little cheat code for your 2026 graphic design projects. They've also offered you a 25% off all Kittle plans for you guys using my code. I will leave a link in the description for you guys to check them out. So a huge thank you to Kittle for sponsoring today's video. Let's talk about the licensing event and my thoughts and feelings about it. I think getting into the world of licensing, specifically from like this event, like big brand type of licensing, is definitely, as I've already mentioned, not for the faint of heart. It is definitely more corporate business. There's a lot of legalities, contracts, timescales that go into licensing. Also, it is quite hard to get into, and it's even harder to get like a licensing agent to represent you if you don't want to do it all yourself and negotiate these deals yourself with other businesses. And I've found that you have to have like a really dedicated brand, and they have to take you really seriously and see potential in you as a brand to take you on. That's the vibe I got anyway. So I think I've got my work cut out to really polish my brand up and get the characters and the IP up to scratch and up to standards, which I think from the help of you guys we are slowly doing over the years. In fact, you guys are often the inspiration, or are the inspiration for a lot of my popular characters like Bumblebutt and stuff, because I listen to what you guys resonate with, what makes you happy, what brings you comfort and joy, and then I roll more with that. And actually we have some characters that used to be a flop, and I think storytelling and world building those characters is a way to like get them out a little bit more. An example is Bonbon, which is Bumblebutt's best friend. Bumblebutt is one of our most popular characters here at Katnipp, and that was actually a surprise character, by the way. I never actually intended Bumblebutt to be one of the main characters of Katnipp. In fact, Gingy was one of my favourite Christmas like style characters, but Bumblebutt just kind of took this world of his own, and so many people like resonated with him and you guys loved him. So then I thought, well, more people want to see Bumblebutt, and that's exactly what I've done. And I think brands probably like Sanrio probably take on customer feedback as well, but Bonbon kind of got left by the wayside. And you guys, I remember seeing loads of comments like he kind of looks like a chubby like old man or something in bunny form. And then I actually made that part of his character, because he's not, he's like the sweetest guy ever. He's only young, he's Bumblebutt's best friend, and that became kind of like a storytelling character. And I thought, what if he's just really misunderstood? And now he's sort of becoming like a little mini cult fan favourite within Katnipp, and we have some people who are really wanting some more Bonbon products. So I think it's really fun to just build out this world, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it, listening to you guys. You guys have even named characters before, especially on Patreon. The Marshies on Patreon will often help me think of next product collections, what they want to see, what they want to collect. And I think that's really important, because at the end of the day, these IPs and these brands become so big because they generate characters that people love and people resonate with. I often think about who I am actually drawn to as a character artist myself and as someone who wants to build a character-based brand, and a lot of the times I am drawn to whimsical characters, someone who's a bit funny and silly, and also if the design is just nice and the colour palette's nice. Pusheen itself, it was actually the brand colours and the minimalistic style of Pusheen that actually drew me to Pusheen, and obviously I love cats, so it's interesting to to see how different people resonate with different things. And also Bluey, that's like a really recent IP that blew up. And I think actually for me personally, I hope the animators and character designers of Bluey don't hate me for saying this, the actual character design itself is not what I've fallen in love with in Bluey. It's actually the characters and the way the story's told that makes me so in love with Bluey. And the same goes for like Disney. Although some Disney characters I might not necessarily love the aesthetics of a character, it's what the character represents that I've really liked. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years I would like to hear at Katnipp do more storytelling, more world building. So that's one thing I learned just by kind of self-reflection about big popular brands and IP and also going to this event. Another thing that I've learned is that licensing is a very, very long game. I would see licensing more as a brand expansion to get your brand out there than a quick money or a money orientated thing for your business. I think eventually it can become like that if you stick it out for years and years, like 5 to 10 to 15 years. I think eventually obviously the money comes if the brand is obviously successful and the license is successful. However, if you're an artist and you're thinking of getting into licensing as just your only source of revenue, I think this could be pretty tricky for a new artist and is something probably more established and more down the line that this naturally comes. In fact, I sat on a panel and I learned about licensing agents and licenses. A single license can take between 12 to 18 months to even get any money out of it. From signing a contract to developing a product to having it licensed on pajamas, for example, in a retailer, it can take 12 to 18 months before seeing any royalties or any money from that. So it is definitely a long game and not something you can necessarily just go straight into without having a really established brand behind you. So I really think I need to tighten up the brand, clean up the brand as well, kind of make it a lot more cohesive and nice. I think we're doing quite a good job here at Katnipp. I think a lot of you guys can already visualize in your head what the world of Katnipp is, which is really great. That's a good starting point, but now it's refining that and also refining myself as an artist and a storyteller as well and getting my characters out there. So I really, really need to focus on the storytelling aspect, which I actually started doing earlier this year. I don't know if you guys know, but I've actually got a few different character Instagram pages up. One for Katnipp Comics, because I'm going to be hopefully bringing my comics back. Another one for Bumblebutt. I have opened a dedicated Instagram page for Bumblebutt, and I'd like my characters to be probably more well known than me eventually. That's kind of the goal anyway, but this is the only way I know how to grow my brand. Kind of just being like, hi, I'm over here, come and see my characters. This is the only way I kind of know how to do it. But yeah, it's a little bit scary because there is a lot of things that go into it. There's lots of contracts and legal things and stuff like that. And at the minute, it felt really overwhelming when I went, and it's almost kind of daunting as well. But I think you just got to start with maybe smaller licensing deals. You can also license out your work for like things like Spoonflower for fabrics, Creative Market, places like that, which is much more instant as an artist. I personally don't want to put my characters on things like Creative Market because I like to have the control of what brands and small businesses are actually going to license Katnipp, and they have to also be in line with Katnipp. I actually remember researching before whether I could actually license Sanrio and do like a Katnipp Sanrio collab, but actually you have to get approved for that. You have to make sure you are on the same wavelength. Sanrio has to approve your designs, and it's a whole process, and then vice versa. That's what I also want to do. If another small business or a business owner approaches me with wanting a license, I would give them a guide pack basically of the characters, how they can be represented, how they can't be. Like, they have to be within the Katnipp universe. There's certain colours that can't be used that we don't use here at Katnipp, like black for example, and you have to establish your brand voice, and that's something I haven't done. I haven't got a pack yet where it has all the characters. That's what I'm going to try and focus on in the next 5 years. See if we can maybe get some smaller collabs or smaller licensing deals in place. That would be really nice. Anyway, speaking of licenses, should I give you a quick cute haul of all the stuff that I got and picked up in London because it is super, super cute. The first thing I got was from the Miffy store. I am going to be doing a personal vlog on that if you want to see it. I just thought it's so cute. Ta-da! I got these two little cute keychains. So it's really interesting. Now I look at where like everything was like licensed by. Look at these. These are so cute. So I got 2 Miffy keychains and I got this cute little fluffy bunny, and I just thought it would look really cute on my desk next to Bumblebook. I also went to this really old bookshop called Daunt's Books, and I went to Pop Mart as well. I'm going to spoil which one I got. I'm going to put that on my personal channel. So I'm going to hide that there. And I also got another blind box. But then I got some books. This is what I wanted to show you because this was more like Katnipp themed from Daunt's Books. And it was very inspirational actually. Some really, really good ones actually. Also stumbled upon a Japanese art gallery, which was absolutely beautiful. And then I got these books. So I actually have the Oliver Jeffers version of this, and it's a book series called The Illustrators. And I actually went to the Miffy store and purchased the Miffy version, but then I checked out and I paid and everything and realised it was in Dutch, so I had to return it. So I do hope I can get Dick Bruner's version of this so I can read through it. Oliver Jeffers one I really, really enjoyed, so that's about Tove Jansson, and I hope I'm saying her name right. I always say it like that. Let me know in the comments if I am or not. So that's to add to my collection. This is my second book of the Illustrator series. Speaking of Moomin as well, I also found this huge comic, and this is all of the Moomin comics. Look at that. So it's just interesting. I thought this would be a great coffee table book to put in the cottage when we've got the cottage and flick through all of these. Her work is often very whimsical, but sometimes a little dark, like got some deeper undercurrents. And then speaking of Oliver Jeffers earlier, I got one of his books. This is my second signed by author book that I've got from Oliver Jeffers. I love the colour palette on this book. I think that's so Katnipp, it's so stunning. And this is to go with my Oliver Jeffers collection. I've got a few of his books now. I absolutely love his illustration style. I think it's absolutely stunning. I love his minimalistic style, but he also uses a lot of textures and mixed media. I do think this one's a lot more minimalistic than some of his other books. It's got a lot of white and negative space in this one, which normally they're very, very colourful. But I actually really love it. I think it's really pretty and it still tells the story, which is what's interesting. Then something a little different actually. This is Clarice in The Chicest Mouse in Paris. And the reason I bought this was because of how distinctive the illustration style is, because it's in the style of kind of French fashion illustration and French fashion graphic design. And I thought that was really interesting and a little bit different for a children's book. So I got that for actual inspiration. And there is the illustrator and the designer on the end. I just like the way she obviously puts her personal style into her books, which is something that I would like to do here at Katnipp. So I thought I'd show you them just because they're going to go on my Katnipp bookshelf, and also will make a very nice coffee table book. I'm actually not sure if this vlog is even going to be like interesting for people, because it is quite a niche subject to kind of go into, but this is a big part of my journey and I'm documenting my journey on this channel about growing Katnipp, and I felt like this was a huge part of that journey, like me learning about licensing. Who knows, further down the line I might not get into that, who knows, but this was one step that I took as a business owner, brand owner and illustrator into licensing it, and I thought it was important to document it and then document the first time going there and learning about it, so I can look back on it in the future and say, oh, that was when we went to the licensing event and we learned about licensing for the first time. But hopefully it has been insightful. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Alright then, thanks so much for watching. I love you. Goodbye.